Hollow Knight has some truly amazing boss battles, complex enemies with fun and challenging skill sets, but today I want to talk to you about what I consider to be the hardest boss in the game, Zote. And no, I'm not talking about the invincible, fearless, sensual, mysterious, enchanting, vigorous, diligent, overwhelming, gorgeous, passionate, terrifying, beautiful, powerful, great Prince Zote. I'm talking about this guy. Zote is an NPC we meet throughout our exploration of Hollow Nest, first in Green Path, where he's found in the clutches of the Vengefly King. Here you can choose to neglect him, leading to his death, or you can show compassion and instantly regret it when he complains that you saved him. Now, many players choose to ignore Zote at this point of the game, claiming that he deserves his fate for his ungrateful attitude and boastful nature, but I know it's really just because they don't want to have to face him later in the Coliseum of Fools. Zote can do as much as 12 masks of damage in just one hit. Whenever you run into Zote, be it in Dirtmouth, Deep Nest, or trapped in the Coliseum of Tools, he boasts about his ability and his nail, Life Ender. At first, we believed this just to be blind arrogance, the type of character we'd love to get a chance to prove them wrong. But once you start the Zote the Mighty boss battle at the end of the first trial in the Coliseum of Pools, you know that Team Cherry's actually been foreshadowing the near impossible battle you'll now have to endure. You can find tutorials on how to beat basically any boss in the game, I mean Hornet, come on, but there are no analyses on best practices against Zote and his attacks. So here is how to beat Zote the Mighty. Alright, let's just skip through the boring trial and get to the really good part at the end. You hear that gasp from the crowd? That's to tell you that what's coming is about to be really scary. I love how they don't give Zote a full screen title card like Nightmare, Grim, and Radiance. It really plays into the theme that Zote isn't supposed to be this scary guy, but then the boss battle is just crazy difficult. But here comes his first attack, and as you can tell, he's a little bit faster than you, so it's really hard to outrun him. You kind of have to jump over him. Now he's throwing himself at the door to show you that he can't feel pain, so even if you start attacking him, you know it's not really going to do anything because he's just too strong. And he's coming in for another attack here, and oh, I just barely made it out there. And here's where it gets really scary. He starts throwing his body at you. Make sure not to let him hit you when he does this because you can take anywhere from 5 to 7 masks of damage each time. Oh, and you can see he did manage to strike me right there, but I actually didn't take any damage. The reason for this is because Team Cherry realized that Zote needed some downside because he didn't have any when they first made him. They actually gave him about a 30% chance to just not deal any damage when he hits you, and that's what you're seeing right here. You can see me testing the RNG here. I actually was feeling really good this night, so I actually managed to squeak by all 3 of those blows with 0 damage. You can see with a jump, Monarch Wing's dash, you can just barely get out of range of the damage. Here's something really cool I wanted to show you. While he's doing his charge, you can actually jump off of him, giving yourself a little bit of a boost, and it gives him like a half-second stun or something, which could be really important in this fight. I probably could have hit him once or twice when he was charging me, but then I'd be taking a lot of damage as well. There are some bosses where you can trade damage for damage because you know you're going to be able to beat them quicker, but Zote just isn't one of those. He's going to beat you every single time if you do it that way. It's just not sustainable to deal him a little bit of damage and take so much in return. Another trick you can use to gain your bearings if you're having trouble outrunning Zote on the ground is to cling to the walls. You can do this with the Mantis Claw and the Crystal Heart. The Crystal Heart even allows you to jump from one side of the walls to the other, giving you another couple seconds to drop to the floor and heal if you can squeeze it in before he attacks. Be careful of just staying on the walls for too long because you're still not entirely safe. Zote actually gains the ability to jump even higher while you're on the walls, and again slams his entire body into you, dealing you tons of damage. Those are most of the defensive techniques. Now let's get into actually dealing Zote damage. Power-up nail abilities deal the most damage, but as you can see, it's really difficult to land one because he's so good at dodging them. Oh, I actually managed to hit him at the tail end of that spin right there. Oh, right there he managed to trap me between the wall and his sword. There was no way I was getting out of there. As far as spells, they are powerful when you land them, but just like the power-up nail attacks, they are difficult to land, so use them at your discretion. Now let's talk about this. This is what we call a Stagger. It's a couple seconds where the boss is stunned, so you can either gain life or deal them more damage, depending on how you're doing in the fight. With Zote, I would say you almost always want to spend this time healing. You'll definitely be missing a couple masks, and he has so much health that dealing a little bit more damage here isn't going to make it so you can last long enough to defeat him if you're missing too much health. If you're ever able to beat Zote, you're given 1,000 Geo, wow, and this beautiful cutscene. Totally worth the 6 weeks of grinding it took to beat him. And the best part is once you've beaten him, he's reduced to this harmless state where you can just hit him as many times as you want without any fear of taking damage. Pretty cool. Alright, I really hope these tips will help you overcome Zote the Mighty, the hardest boss created in the last 30 years. Thanks for watching.
Ugh.